Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am thrilled today, I'm already sitting back and getting cozy. I am thrilled today to be joined by the fabulous Farah Bashir from...
Sachi Skin.
I was waiting for you to be like, Sachi Skin.
My cue.
I have lots of questions. I feel like we won't have loads of time because I know you're like, I was going to say she flies in 3 days, but we could sit here all day. For those of you who don't know Sachi Skin, if you're in the Freaks group, you will know it. Don't worry. It looks like this. It looks like this. Hang on. Bear with. It looks like that. Now, the reason, just don't mind me just trashing the joint, will you? The reason you're here is because it's easy for me to talk about all the brilliant brands that are in the industry that we're surrounded by that do great things. But I love championing smaller, independent brands. And you've done such a fantastic job of getting into everyone's, especially if people are like skincare freaks, getting into their sort of eye line and being spoken about in such a positive way that I was just like, when you were like, well, I'm coming over, I'm like, get in the office, let's film. So thank you for coming.
No, gosh, thank you.
Number one, tell me from the beginning, so Sachi States of Skin, how long have you been going?
So we started in 2020. We sort of shipped our first product at the end of 2020 in the pandemic. We've been going for just about 2 years plus.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And only 4 SKUs?
Only 4.
I shouldn't say only, that's really bad. I should say 4 SKUs because I know as well as anyone how hard it is to start a brand, but then to bring out what I love with independent brands, of which I would class us as being one, you bring it out when it's ready. It's not like, okay, we're in a new quarter, we need another product. It's not built around a marketing calendar.
Oh no.
You work the same way?
Yeah, so you have 4 treatment products that are really sort of address your sort of most pressing skin states. And it's never been about, we need to have this line or we need to have these SKUs. It's always been about creating products that our community wanted.
Yeah.
And we're taking our time, we're doing things slowly, we're just in no rush, really.
That's the best way, isn't it? It's just because you're not chasing other people's agendas.
Yeah,
you don't have retailers like screaming at you to do X, Y, Z. I think the good part of the onset of the internet is that it has allowed brands like us to the freedom to just say, maybe we'll go on sale in July. If it's not ready, it'll be September. Yeah,
exactly. And I think we just making sure the formulation is what the community wants, making sure that we're making the right products. And there is just so much skincare. You just want to make sure that you're bringing the right stuff out. You just can't.
Just not for the sake of it.
No, not for the sake of it. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth putting all that effort for another kind of, similar product to what's already out there.
Where does the name Sachi come from?
So Sachi it kind of goes across 3 different languages. So Hindi, Urdu, and Japanese, and it means...
I never got the Japanese part.
Yes.
I'm so dumb.
So
Carry
Japanese.
on. I do apologise.
And actually, if you look, we've got the languages on the top of the cap as well. So you've got...
Oh, yeah.
So you've got Sachi in Urdu, Hindi.
I know, I can see it clear as day now.
And so, and the reason is because there are so many synergies between Eastern cultures.
Yeah.
Sachi means the truth, and these products are the truth as far as we're concerned. And it also means happiness. And so when you look at Sachi, it's happy states of skin.
Sachi.
Sachi.
Well, that's it now in the office. That's all we're going to call it, isn't it? We're just going to be like, so we've got the Sachi. Why skincare and what's your background?
So skincare, it's been part of me since I can remember. So I come from a family where so many of us have skin conditions. Actually, even my father, all of his siblings had acne, like severe acne. They've got really deep, pitted scars. All of us as siblings have had acne. I've taken Roaccutane twice. And the 3rd time round, I was like, right, I can take care of this myself. And then when I gave birth to my little girl, she had all these atopic skin conditions as well.
God.
So, and I had melasma and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation because I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I've always had all of these skin condition issues. And so I was always learning about skin. I was always learning about skin, formulations, ingredients. And that led to, doing qualifying as an esthetician. I did that as a part-time course for a year, and qualified back in 2000s, early 2000s. Then formulations, moved on to formulations. I worked on skincare counters and working as an educator as well in the community, and it all really morphed into, me sort of learning and educating the community, and that's really how it all happened. So it was really about my own needs first, and just having to solve my own needs. And I think one of the biggest issues for me was, I think around this time that I started to create Sachi, was that, I couldn't find really good pigmentation serums that really took care of melanin-rich skins, that weren't going to cause any issues, that were safe and effective and worked across diverse skin tones. So I really wanted something that could address my own pigmentation concerns, and for people like me, my skin tones and my colour, and also for other people that had pigmentation concerns as well. So it just really sort of morphed into, and I started, before I even created the brand, I was formulating and creating products just because I wanted certain products.
Yeah.
And they just weren't there.
I find that a lot, people who start their own brand for a reason that's other than to make money, because if you want to make money, you wouldn't start a skincare brand, would you? It's like when people say, if you want to be rich, don't write a book. Not everyone is J.K. Rowling. There's not a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of investment, a lot of time comes up first.
Yeah.
What I think is phenomenal is that you launched in the middle of the pandemic. You couldn't have timed it worse, really.
It was really hard.
I launched a book in the middle of the pandemic. We didn't do a book tour. We had to put back the date.
Yeah.
Turned out quite well. It's fine. But to get this far after launching in the pandemic is insane. Like, do you stop and go, oh, we did something there? Because although you're small, I mean, you're not going to be offended if I say you're still a small independent brand.
Yeah, we are. Of course we are.
But they're knocking at the door, aren't they? I mean, retailers are knocking at the door like, we're ready now. And you're like, no, I'm not sure. We just want to wait and see if we're okay. And it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, so we had a lot of retailers approach us last year. And I was like, nope. I really want to make sure that the community is happy. We're creating the right products, rather than just, sort of bowing down to a lot of retail demands and, having all sorts of products that fit a retail environment. It was really about working with the community and what do you guys want?
Your community is happy.
Yeah.
Your community
putting
are
everything
some of the most obsessed fans I think I've experienced, and Lulu would say the same. Like, the guys who look after the Freaks group with me are very, very aware of your brand. Now, talk us through the products. Let's start with what I think is your most famous. You may not, but I would instantly say Trifala, would you?
Yes, everyone just absolutely loves it.
Tell us why, and tell us about the name, because I got into trouble with this. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I said, well, the problem is when I say something, if it's my normal audience and I say something and it's a bit throwaway, they take it just on the sort of face value of what it is. But when I said, it's Trifala, Trifalfala, I can't remember. I was in here and I was in the middle of one of my long things. Yeah. And then I had people going, it's Ayurvedic and you're being very disrespectful. And I was like, wait, hang on. I wouldn't be disrespectful. That was my first job in the industry, was on the Ayurveda counter and learning about chakras. Right. Obviously, I'm not comparing yours to Ayurveda, the commercialised side of Ayurveda. But tell us about Trifala Pigmentation Corrector and why you think it's so popular, because people are obsessed with this.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, we've sold out so many times, I think, and it's just, I'm really surprised. But I knew I wanted to create a serum for myself because I have these post-inflammatory dark marks and they would take 11 months, 12 months to fade. And I was like, right, I want them to fade in a couple of weeks.
Right.
And it was literally like that. I was like, I got my spreadsheet out, ticking through, okay, how long did that mark fade? How long did that take? Let's move back. Okay, that took that long. That ingredient works up. We were just literally 4 years. It was trial and error, iteration, throwing out products, and it took such a long time. So I'm really, delighted that people love it, because I know how long this took to make. Trifala means, try. Mm-hmm. That's 3. And Phala means fruits, 3 fruits. And these are 3 Ayurvedic fruits that come together to really bring about magic. Now, the fruits themselves are really amazing. They have and there's a lot of new clinical studies coming up that these fruits have fantastic restorative, anti-glycation, sort of well-aging benefits. These really work well to brighten the skin tone. And you would have heard of like ellagic acid or gallic acid. Now, these fruits are rich in those compounds as well. And this works to really even out the skin tone, address sun damage, hyperpigmentation, post-inflammatory breakouts, both the dark marks and the red marks, redness. But also, if you are olive in skin tone, or if you are Southeast Asian or South Asian, it also addresses undertones, that yellow sallowness. So you'll see that starting to balance out. So you'll see those undertones. And if you have, sort of reddened skin, you'll start to see that balance out as well. So it really works on so many levels to sort of brighten and even the skin tone out. Now, it has these fruits, these wonderful Ayurvedic fruits, but it also has fantastic peptides. It has...
Yeah, you don't go down the clean and green road.
We call it thoughtful beauty.
Yeah.
Thoughtful beauty.
Doesn't mean you're out there creating mess and being unsustainable. It just means you don't try and tell people that you don't use preservatives and you don't use the word toxic and things like that.
No, I think clean is a really difficult word. It's like you walk into my house and I think it's pretty clean. You might turn around and say, Farah, you could probably go over it, right? And so you probably go over it, but and it's that kind of word that just doesn't have a benchmark standard.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult to use that word. And I thought to myself, okay, right, the best I can do is be thoughtful in what I put into these ingredients, thoughtful in how I do things, and that's we call it thoughtful beauty. And so it has these peptides, it has niacinamide, of course, which is fantastic. It has hexaresorcinol, it has liposomal microalgae, which only target the pigmented areas. Now, if you're a person of colour and you want to target those dark marks, but you do not want to lighten the rest of your skin tone, this will just focus on that.
The dark marks.
The dark marks. That's really important for the melanin-rich skin community and for all of us who really want to, bring out our best skin tone, our best skin, but do not want to sort of lighten our skin. We want to brighten and even it.
I mean, you would hope the dark days of the 70s and the 80s with like whiten and all lighten and whiten, all those words, you would hope they're gone now.
Yeah,
you would hope. I know they're still out there in certain places, but
and especially in Asia, it really happens a lot in Asia because if you called a product Trifala Pigmentation Corrector, it just doesn't sell. They need to see whitening on the bottle,
isn't it?
And so you have big brands that go out to Asia.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of
we know who they are.
just rebrand and stick whitening everywhere.
Crazy.
And then that product sells. And a lot of people said to me, look, Farah, you've got to focus on, you're small, you need to sell to get off the ground. You've got to do this. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I felt offended. I know what it feels like.
Yeah, as if whiten is the goal.
Yeah, exactly. But and I thought to myself, I feel offended. Why would I do that?
No.
And sometimes as a brand, you're under pressure. As a business,
well, I imagine if you did call it all whitening or whatever, your choice of a horrible word, and you went into duty free in those areas, you'd make a killing.
Oh yeah, all of those, the shelves are empty. It's all sort of
it's crazy.
Just people love the stuff. It's just unbelievable. Like we don't see that in the UK or Europe, but when you're out in Asia, it is next level.
That's a whole other kettle of fish. Now, was this next?
Yeah, so we actually launched the Trifala Pigmentation Corrector, but we launched it with the Complexion Clarifying Accelerator. So this was the accelerator. So you have a kit, and you have the serum, and then you have another product, which is an accelerator, which it kind of accelerates that process of fading hyperpigmentation marks, sun damage, and retexturizing the skin as well. Now, this has fantastic brighteners that work on melasma. And so, there's a lot of clinical studies supporting these actives as well. So nothing is just taken off the shelf in that sense. It's all, a lot of research has gone into which ingredients we've selected in these products. And it is a sort of enzyme acid blend that is beautiful, that works fantastically overnight to resurface, retexturize, and fade dark marks.
Yeah.
Once you pair the two together, then the
double whammy.
Oh yeah, then the results are amazing.
Now, that's right. I was looking.
Then we had.
Then you've got this, and then you've got this. Now, I love that you called it overnight reform because it is a bit like when it came out, there was a lot of shouting in the Freaks group. In a positive way, in a positive way of like, oh my God, has everyone got da-da-da? Because I think what's great about people who are obsessed with skincare is when they get into something, when they can latch onto a brand at the beginning, it's almost like following a band since the beginning. They want you to do really well, like you said, they give you feedback, and then you get to know what worked brilliantly, what didn't hit.
Yeah.
But actually, you've got 4 hits. So the ursolic acid and retinol overnight reform looks like this. Let me do a nice little YouTube hand for you. And it's, I mean, I love the pack. I love that it's so easy to follow. Would you say that this is for the same customer as, do you go after just one sort of demographic in terms of if you want to help, if someone has a perfectly healthy skin with absolutely no changes in tone or elasticity, would you say that your range is not for them, or would you say, oh God, no, you should start here, here and here?
It's about bringing your skin back to its healthiest, most balanced state. I have yet to see this perfect skin.
Yeah.
Like, I have yet to see it.
Me either. I just thought I'd put it out there, you know.
But with the ursolic acid retinol overnight reform, this is a wonderful Ayurvedic retinoid system. It has 12 antioxidants. It has niacinamide, bakuchiol, all these brighteners. It has a clarifying Ayurvedic oil blend, you know, tulsi, which is holy basil. It has rosemary. It has black cumin, organic black cumin seed oil. It has peptides and oat oil and a very high, and Caroline, this is like high purity grade oat oil. We had to pay like double the price. So
Always the way, isn't it?
It's, you know,
always
we just
the way.
we really worked on making sure that we had fantastic ingredients and retinaldehyde as well. And so this is your well-aging, clarifying, brightening system.
Yeah.
So this is going to keep
all over my arms while I'm here.
Yeah. So this is the sort of your well-aging system.
Yeah.
And you can start this if you're worried about, let's say, breakouts, you could be using this. If you want to brighten your skin tone, you want to be using this, just like any vitamin A, any retinoid. And then, of course, you have, you know, the retinaldehyde component, the vitamin A component as well. And we've paired that with other ingredients to work in sync together.
To give them a boost.
Yeah, to give it all a boost.
Now, when you come into Pro Resilience Serum, which is this, would you say new kid on the block?
This was, this is there's no kid here.
No, just a saying, it's just a saying.
But
because again,
yeah,
people are obsessed with this serum, like obsessed. And I just find it fascinating because what I love is that you bring the science. What I love with a brand is when they bring the science and they don't treat the customer, they don't dumb down to them. So you don't go, oh, this is, you don't just, you know, do you know what I mean? Like you're not trying to just sell like a single ingredient. You're not trying to say this will fix everything. It comes with the science of this is best when used like this, we use it on this skin type for this reason, and then people really respond to it.
Yeah, and people understand this. So if you've got, Pro Resilience Serum is if you've got reactive skin, if you get easily reddened, if you have sort of, even if you've got dry, irritated skin, if you're starting to notice a bit of creepiness, you know, come into your skin, fine lines, wrinkles, and then also if you've gone to an in-clinic treatment and you've done your lasers, your peels, your chemical peels, you know, even your laser hair removal on your face, or, you know, a lot of Asian community do that, and your skin is irritated.
You feel like your face is going to fall off. You're like, what have I done?
This is such a beautiful serum. It is incredibly calming and soothing. It is plumping. It is intensely hydrating. And over time, it just helps sort of rebalance, and just, you'll notice a difference in your skin and how sort of resilient it feels to actives.
It's quite juicy.
Yeah,
I would say it's like a nice juicy serum.
Yeah, it is. It's very hydrating. And if you have a sunburn, or if you've burnt your skin, I've even applied it to that. The amount of tests I've done is madness, but it will not sting. Even water stings your face.
Yeah, when you're sunburned,
Oh yeah, even water stings your face. You can't put a moisturiser on until at least 15, 20 minutes later. It stings. If you've done a chemical peel and your skin is peeling, water stings. We did so much work on this, and a lot of that work was actually kind of 10 years ago when I was in Japan working on sort of atopic skins, on the body for children and things like that. A lot of that research went into that bottle. I did a lot of that work, and I was like, I have to put it in there. I have to put it in there. You'll see the results. It's so amazing. And so now when people are just, you know, feeling a bit sore or irritated, they reach out for that.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people come back to me and say, you know what? You know, everything stings my face. This is the first product that doesn't sting my face. Like,
that's what you want, right?
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, yes.
What's next?
What's next?
For Sachi.
So these are treatment products, and the community has been shouting. They've been like asking me, Farah, where is the moisturiser and your cleanser? And I think actually it was one of your lives where, I don't know if it was you or someone else, where you said bread and butter. Like the bread and butter of a routine.
Yeah.
It must have been you because I
That
love
is a
doing
bread and
your
butter
lives.
line, yeah.
So, and if you've worked on the skincare counter, everyone that comes on a skincare counter, they want the cleanser, they want the moisturiser. And they need that in their routine. And I recognise that a lot of people say, look, Farah, I need that. For me, I wanted to create a few treatment products. And I do have a moisturiser that we started developing in 2018. Some of you guys out there have tried it. And but I was never ready to launch it because new ingredients come up. And I'm thinking, well, you know,
I'll put that in it.
should I experiment with that? So I'm constantly experimenting. And then I try it for a year. And I think to myself, well, that didn't do much. And I'm back to square one again. So it is happening. Those are going to be, that's in the works.
Don't you think, though, like the reason I say bread and butter is because you get to the point where you release, I think, because we are inundated with cleansers and moisturisers, like you said, you want to get them right. Whereas the treatment serums, because unfortunately, there are so many skin conditions that you can tackle, that putting the time and effort into those, I mean, that's what we did. We launched cleanser and moisturiser afterwards, after everything else.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So I think it's like a nice change, again, another change, like innovation in how the industry's going, how you can control your own business when you're like a D2C and you're not pressurised.
For the last 5 years, we've seen everyone start with a cleanser. Yes. Everyone starts with a cleanser or a moisturiser. Every brand that launched, they come out with a single cleanser or a moisturiser. And for me, that was like, well, I'm not going to put all that effort to come out with a cleanser.
Yeah.
So we'll focus on what
I'll do one, but I want to do this first.
Yeah, I want to do this first. I wanted to do what I needed first. And, you know, get that itch.
And where do you see yourself going in terms of like, because the minute this goes up, I'll get inundated with where can I buy it from? So obviously you have your online.
We have our online, and that's going to be that's been our primary focus.
Yeah. Do you want to expand into stores maybe at some point, you think?
Yeah, I think at some point we are going to, because people are saying, why can't I get it here?
Yeah.
Why can't I, and especially the EU, why can't I get it here? Why can't I? And they, you know, a lot of people think we're bigger than we are.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I think you're the appearance of you, sorry to interrupt, but I agree. Like, I think what you've done marketing without marketing.
There's no marketing.
Literally,
There's
that's
no
what I mean.
marketer.
That's what I mean. You haven't done it, but what you've done is made your brand seem like you've been here for a long time. And you're what, 3 years old?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
This is just a truthful expression of what I wanted to see. Even like the Thoughtful 7, the name, States of Skin, Sachi, it was like me closing my eyes and saying, if I was to create something, what would it look like? And then just figuring it out. Even with the packaging, I would literally just close my eyes and I would sketch. And I would say, right, this is it. This is the colour. This is how it's going to be. This is the language.
Amazing.
And
needless to say, I do not close my eyes and sketch when it comes to our skincare. I'm like, can you make it look like this, please? I don't close my eyes and sketch, no.
I really wanted all of that. I had this sort of, you know, I have this image and vision of what I have in my head and just trying to bring it all to life, really.
Well, you've done an amazing job. Thank you so much for, launching and being one of the brands out there that, you know, makes it interesting for all of us. Because there's a lot of I would call it just like a bread and butter range, almost. There's a lot of just easy to go into any pharmacy or supermarket and just buy generic. You know, and if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. Please don't come for me. But what I love is when you start with science and a need and go from there. So thank you and well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.